right, this is my first workout of the week. So pretty much what I do is I do 3 lower body workouts. They're all pretty light and easy because the main goal isn't for me to get crazy strong right now or crazy explosive. Is I want to get healthy in my joints before I get strong and powerful in my joints again. So right now, my knee cracks, you can hear it. So the goal is to get to the point where it's not cracking like that anymore and they don't hurt. They were really, really bad last year to the point where I couldn't step off a curb without hurting. Even standing for a long time hurt my knees because they got degenerated so bad. So the whole focus now is staying in a high rep range with a very low weight, primarily my body weight for all my exercises. And then also, getting the tendons strong as well. Just quick little physique update. This is day 1. I've been working on this. So let's go. Put this down a little bit. You can see I'm not in terrible shape, but obviously holding some fat. Woke up 180, almost 183 pounds this morning. A lot of that's due to eating a bunch of Thai food last night. I had like 5 egg rolls. Saturdays and Sundays are usually my easier days, but the goal is I want to also see if I can get a little leaner. I know a lot of athletes tend to have a leaner look in the torso around here. So hopefully that's a consequence of working out, getting more athletic. But for the meantime, it's just all about getting stronger. Okay, so this is my Spanish iso squats. I start off with these on my leg days. I'm going to be starting off with them pretty much because I have weak knees because of all the messed up basketball I played over, honestly, the last 2 years. Because they weren't that bad before that, but I decided to start playing basketball. I tried to join a men's league and played in tournaments all day long, and it completely pretty much trashed my knees. And I think I was playing an hour in the morning before work, an hour during my lunchtime, and then I would play 2 to 3 hours at night with no stretching, no recovery. Honestly, because my legs were so messed up, I stopped lifting for my lower body too. And all that damage just accumulated. So been doing a lot of research on it, and one of the main things you want to do is you need to strengthen those tendons back because pretty much all my tendons got weak, and it takes months to get this to work. So I'm doing 3 sets of 45 seconds for these Spanish iso squats. Been looking at ATG. I think it's ATG and also I think it's Squat University. They talk about these a little bit. And essentially all you gotta do, you put the band behind your knee and you're sitting back in a half to quarter squat for 30 to 45 seconds. Need to do these about 3 times a week, they suggest. And honestly, I think with isometrics, they say it takes about 3 months at a time to see improvements. It's not like with muscle growth where you could see strength improvements in 2-3 days, or even when it comes to muscle growth, and you actually could see muscle growth in like 2 or 3 weeks. Tendons take a very long time, but they also could be much, much stronger over time. So goal is doing these 3 times a week, 3 sets to 30 to 45 seconds. And then eventually I'm going to add in another isometric, probably something where I'm seated and like a leg extension iso. But I don't have the machine right now, so sticking with these. And to be honest, they're not as easy as you think they would be. I was only doing 45 seconds and I weigh about 183 pounds right now. And these were extremely difficult past the 30-second mark. I could feel my quads starting to get pretty, not sore, but I could feel almost like a pump in my quads as if I did a whole bunch of leg extensions. And they were starting to even wiggle a little bit. So this probably was gonna be fine just to continue doing for a while, at least for the next 3 months, considering I probably won't have any major adaptations until then, and then maybe find a way to load these in the future. But for now, 3 sets of 45 seems like it will do the trick. And I wanna do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as a way to get my knees warm for the rest of the workout. Now that my knees are warmed up, essentially, they feel less, it's like cracking or whatever you want to call it. They don't feel like, okay, I'm about to hurt them as soon as I do a movement. I could go into my touchdown squats. So these I actually did get from Squat University. So Squat University and Knees Over Toes guy, they have something that they both kind of do something similar to this. Knees Over Toes guy, he likes the sled, the reverse sled. The reverse walking, reverse sled is, the whole idea is you want to get your knee past your toe. So that's good, but once you start, eventually, if you're just reverse walking, there's not enough resistance for it to really get you enough of your knee moving. Once your knees start to get healthier. And that's where I got to the point. At first, reverse walking when I could barely stand, it actually worked pretty good. Then over time, I started adding weight to the sled. But the thing with adding weight to the sled, 10 minutes of that is it's a lot. And it doesn't really, I feel like they would actually be more sore after I finished than anything else. So that's why I went back to doing these. It's a touchdown squat. The whole idea is you're controlling the motion down and you're controlling motion up. I always work in that 20 rep range because, I mean, it means that you're not loading it too heavy and then you really can control it. And you actually start to feel more of the muscle fatigue rather than like the joint. And that's what you want. You don't want the joint to feel fatigued. So I do that. I've worked my way up. You want to start off with like 3 inches off the ground, which is very little, but when your knees hurt, you will barely be able to do that. Over time though, you want to get to like 12 inches. Also, the goal is to be able to jump higher, and these are supposed to be a really good supplementary exercise to help develop the muscles that are needed and the joints to jump higher, because you're not going to just feel it in the knee joint. You feel it in the quad. You also will feel it in your glute and stabilizing muscles. A lot of people that have imbalances in their squat actually could benefit from doing exercises like this, because like you will be working on all those things. And since it's a unilateral, you're working both sides independently. And since you're working them independently, you're going to be able to make sure that both sides are equal. So 3 times a week, hitting these 2 sets of 20. They seem easy, but I guarantee you try one of these things, you're probably going to fall off the thing the first time you do it. Okay, so then I move on to these tibialis raises. Honestly, the setup for getting these tibialis raises when you're not doing them on the wall and you're trying to do weighted is weird. I have a decline bench, and this is like the best I could do with them. I go and I try to get this thing off the ground, but I don't know if I need a new tibialis bar or what, but I do like them because I do understand and I kind of agree with the principle that the ATG squat talks about, where building from the ground up, even though tibialis is like a small muscle and it's saying it doesn't make you jump higher, I think being strong in multiple aspects around your body is a good idea, especially as I'm starting to age and get older. So being strong from the feet all the way up through my hips and my upper body makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to continue to do the tibialis raises, and they take so little time. I don't even do a warm-up set for it. And whenever I'm working in these 20 rep ranges, the weight is so relatively light, it makes no sense to do a warm-up set. So I do 2 sets of 20 with these. I have 45 pounds on there. Maybe there's a little bit more form or a little more extension I could get on these. But in the meantime, I think they're something that are beneficial, and they get me set up for doing calves. So calves right here, you see me just doing body weight, which, anybody that's been to the gym, anybody that's, walked in there, seen the calf raise machine, is probably like, oh man, like, you're weak, blah, blah, blah. But if you ever use a calf raise machine at the gym, you've probably been like what a lot of other people do, and they bounce that weight around. Bouncing it up, they're bouncing it down. They're not able to even squeeze at the top because it's so heavy, or you're working in much lower rep ranges. I'm doing 3 sets of 25 on my calf raises. Do that for 3 sets of 25 with your body weight. I guarantee you by your second set, you will feel a burn like you never had before. And this is not just like get to the top and get down. I want you to control up, pause at the top, and then come back down. Your calves will feel it. If your calves are feeling it and your calves are having a burn, they will grow. But once again, we're not just looking for growth here. I'm also looking for the ability to get these things strong and durable. I'm working on, I think it's like a slow twitch muscle fibers here. I want them to be able to withstand me running, me jumping, any other demands that they have. So I went through my calves, I went through my tibialis. I move into my squats here. Now, I feel ridiculous doing these. Not even gonna hold you. These feel ridiculous. I feel like one of those old 80s workout videos where they're doing the little squats and, trying to get a little pump. Especially since if you go on my channel that I have here now, back when I first got it and was posting back in like 2016, 2017, I literally have a video where I was squatting 225 for a 100 rep challenge, and that stuff was moving like butter. Problem now is my knees don't work like butter, and my hips hurt, and my lower back hurt because I didn't take care of my body in my 20s like I wish I should. So what I'm doing is I'm doing sets of 30. Sets of 20 to 30 are great for rehabbing the body because they're so light. They don't cause a lot of stress on it, but they also will be able to stimulate the muscle enough for the muscle to stay there. And sometimes you even grow some muscle in those rep ranges. So my goal for these then to grow, because like I said, I still can feel a pump in my muscles, to be honest. In my quads, I feel it because previously
I think I strictly worked in 3 to 8 rep range. Anything about 10 was insane for me to do. So doing 30, yeah, muscles are working. And working something I've never felt before. But the goal is, before I even add weight back to these ever, is I want to get to the point where I'm squatting down to, honestly, ATG. I want my be ass to grass on these to where I have full hamstring over full calf without my knees making that sound that they currently make. Once I get to that point, I'll be fine with moving weight and putting weight back on them. And since I'm not really interested in being very strong now anymore, I'm cool with that. And then from there, my last workout that I do, and sorry, I'm having a little conversation here on the phone before I started it, but I'm doing hip thrusts here. And these, once again, I feel like a lot of people don't do these, and I previously took them out as well because I was interested in just the aesthetic of having muscle. And for aesthetically, even if you're trying to grow your glutes, you don't really need these. But I'm doing them for hips and lower back. Rep ranges of 30. I started with just 20 pounds. I'm back up to 95. Honestly, might be able to do more because it's just such a short range of motion. It's easy to be able to put a lot of weight on the bar and move this. But already feeling an improvement here. And it's going to keep on adding a little bit of weight every single week, seeing what improvements I can make. And honestly, that's the workout. It took me about an hour to get through the whole thing. I took phone calls and everything, so it slowed me down. But this is going to be the workout every single Monday.